All right, perfect. Hello everyone, and welcome to Arab Youth Voices, a small podcast series by Demos Tunisia Democratic Sustainability Forum. So today we're going to be speaking with some youth activists and organizations from across the Arab region who are working on democracy-related issues. So I'm very excited to be joined by two representatives from the Arab Youth Sustainable Development Network, also known as AYSDN. We have with us Mr. Tareq Hassan, the head of AYSDN, and Ms. Wiam Adil Maktari, the partnerships assistant. So thank you both so much for being here with me today. So just to start with, could you please tell me, just introduce yourselves briefly and tell me a little bit about your roles within AYSDN, please.
Yeah, thank you very much for this podcast, and we really appreciate sharing the Arab youth voices among your network and globally. We are very pleased to hear that, and we are very pleased to be here with you today. Well, my name is Tareq Hassan. I'm the head of Arab Youth Sustainable Development Network. I'm also the founder for the network itself. We have established this network in 2018, and why we established this network is actually because of the need to highlight the role of the Arab youth at the regional level, and also firstly at the national level, and also at the regional level, and also international level. So three levels that we are main focuses on that. Number two is actually the need of empowering youth from the Arab region to be able to know the Sustainable Development Goals, the UN SDGs actually, and to be empowered and to know what are the projects that they are doing and implementing in their communities. So how can we benefit and involving and engaging youth to be a leader and to be a change makers in their communities at the region, at the national level, or in their countries. Secondly is actually the need to broaden up more of the Arab youth to the regional level, especially to those regional meetings, either organized by the Arab League or by the other UN entities, whom needs to be engaged more Arab youth to be to take decisions, or to be at the stage to be like decision makers on those meetings and forums, and high level meetings, especially followed by the UN. The third thing is actually brought up more youth to be engaged at the international convention, at the international level. And what makes me sad is actually when I attend one of the meetings in 2017, actually. So I found only myself, attending such meeting, among many youth from different regions of the world, and that really makes me sad that there is no Arab youth engaged on those several international meetings. So that's why I started to establish this network among some of the Arab youth from the region, and we come up with the idea. Actually, the idea comes when we attending the training by the UNESCO. Actually, it was in Beirut. Actually, it was a flagship training on education for sustainable development goals. So that we come up with this idea that we need more youth to be brought up at the international regional level, and also to highlight it some of the youth, and also main things is actually empowering, and what we have done is actually empowered more than 10,000, or maybe 13,000, I think, if I'm not mistaken, 13,000 in different sectors, on climate change, in health, in economic empowerment, in media, advocacy, in different topics that we have been working so far through these years. And some of them actually we do it voluntarily, and some of them were like funded by others, by other donors, internationally. And also we have been attending several, meetings. We have been main focal points, like attending several meetings with FAO, with ESCWA, with those, and we have been affecting, and also affecting and also in drafting proposals, drafting suggestions on how youth can be engaged on those meetings. We have also been played a key role in terms of advocacy, advocacy and campaigns known like advocacy to let people know what's going on at the international level, what's going on negotiations, what's going on about some issues, especially like climate change and other issues, and where we are as Arab youth, where we stand, in those sectors. Basically, this is one of the main things that we highlighted, and also we have been communicating with Arab League, with different member states on how we can brought up some youth into high-level meetings, such as the UN General Assembly, the UN High-Level Political Forum, the UN COPs meetings, either for climate change or for other meetings. We have been also organized such a side event, in those high-level conventions, especially for climate change, from the High-Level Political Forum and other meetings in the MENA region. This is very important that we have been come up with the idea to brought up many youth across the MENA regions. We have been also partners with other different entities. So this is just a summary on what AYSDN has been doing through its since its establishment until now.
That's perfect. That's very, very encouraging for the youth within, I think, the MENA region most specifically. And I know that the AYSDN has led a lot of key programs, like they range from climate action to actual green innovation, sustainable livelihoods, some disaster risk reductions. I've read a lot of what you guys have done, which is very, very encouraging and very inspiring for a lot of the youths in the MENA region, especially myself as well. And I know that in 2025, the network that you have established has been especially active through its empowerment program, if I'm not mistaken. So you launched trainings on youth leadership, in climate action and advocacy strategies as well. And you've hosted a lot of regional youth assemblies and webinars. So I saw the one that was called The Planet versus Plastic. And you've amplified a lot of Arab youth voices in both regional and global SDG dialogues. And I think because of everything that you have said so far, it makes a lot of sense to me why you started the initiative and you made this whole foundation. But my question is, how do you see Arab youth as different from global youth in terms of challenges from these opportunities?
Yeah, this is a very good questions, and I really appreciate this kind of questions. As I have told you, when I was attending in 2017, I was alone, and now when I see today, there was a lot of difference. There's a lot of youth has been known, has been engaged. I were one of the leadings for the youth meetings and also Arab and MENA youth MENA organizations during the COP, which was in Dubai. I think COP 28. We have been engaged a lot of youth from the MENA regions, and that was really a surprise for me that many youth has been engaged, many youth has been known what is climate change, and they have been learning and building their capacity. So I'm very satisfied on what we have achieved until now, actually, or engaging more, and there's a lot of difference now. There's a lot of high impacted that we have been done so far. Even in democracy now, we are having a webinar, by the way, next month with the European Youth Democracy.
Yeah.
We will establish. Yeah, we have a webinar on I think on the 29th of October. We will establish this webinar, I think, by next week to be published and to let people know what's the role of European Youth Democracy and what they are doing actually in terms of youth index and so on. So basically, this is our main, and there's a lot of difference now. It has been a high impacted youth has been well known today. When we attending when we're doing some trainings, imagine that the first time I was like got shocked. More than 500 attending. In the Zoom meeting. And sometimes it goes to 900. It was like I'm crazy, like 900 attending a Zoom meeting. Come on, it was like, I was really, really proud of this number of youth from all different countries of the regions. So that's why we are really proud of our work and our team and what they are doing seriously and impacted. Some of the youth I swear to you that they would like don't know nothing about some topics. They don't know they don't know even what is UN SDGs, and then they don't know what's going on, either at the regional level or international level. So now most of them they know, they got to know, they follow up and they're attending. We when we plan it very well. Firstly, we focus on empowering, and which is very important in building the capacity of youth, so they got to know where this level and building their knowledge actually in some topics, and we when we design our programs, even in 2015 actually, we design it in different topics, not only like on climate change, in disaster, in livelihood, in health, in media, in advocacy, so in different topics that the youth get to know what's going on in many topics, and then we brought them on how they can be involved, and how they can be engaged, and where they can be engaged, either at the national level or at the international level, or and how can they attend. And also we provide, we provide some accreditations for the youth actually. Some of the UN meetings, you need to have an accreditation to attend.
Yeah.
No, not everybody is allowed. So we try to get funding. We try to get accreditations for this youth to attend. And we are really keen that every meeting we have to send one youth, at least one. If we don't have funding, at least one. We have to self-sponsored by our side, at least to be there, at least to represent the Arab youth and to know what's going on at those meetings, and especially some of the meetings is very far, and funding needs a lot of money,
Of
but
course.
we have been really trying on, like, trying to let at least one from our side to be engaged, and to be attending and to representing the Arab youth on those meetings.
Of course, and I think I really appreciate the part where you were saying how you were surprised at the capacity of people actually, or youths actually attending these meetings. I think that the youth were just waiting for an opportunity to be invited into this kind of environment that we've been secluded from for very long. And you've mentioned that you've worked with organizations, very important organizations like UNESCO, ESCWA, and things of the such. Have you noticed any change in how the youth are now perceived by governments or institutions since you have founded AYSDN?
Yes, yes, definitely, definitely. ESCWA, I have been involving with ESCWA since 2016, I think. And when I attending them, we talked to them that they should involve, and seriously, they have been engaging more youth, into their meetings. Now, for example, I'm one of the FAO technical advisory technical committee. I'm one of the members, on IFRAS. We call it IFRAS. It's a platform actually on engaging more. So they brought youth to their technical communities. So now most of the organizations, we try to pressure on like emphasizing to them that youth to be there in your meetings. And seriously, there's a lot of change on that. Seriously, there's a lot of change. Or also, youth, even countries, sometimes when we attending the COP, we do have like a meeting with Arab, we call it Arab group meetings, and then when we talk to them that, okay, please, we need you to bring and to bring up most of the youth negotiations to the COP. At least, some of the countries, they really started, like Egypt, now they started supporting youth, and to brought and to sponsor youth to come to there. UAE, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, they started to provide some support for the youth. Tunisia now they support as well. Some of the youth to brought up for such meetings. So we try to pressure to the government, and also we try to pressure for the civil societies, and also international associations and institutes. So there's a lot of change actually.
Okay, that's very, very good to hear. And very encouraging as well from my side. Uyam, I'd like to bring you in here if that's okay, as I think because you're a partnerships assistant, if I'm not mistaken, you work very closely on these kind of like on maintaining and building and maintaining partnerships with these institutions that we've discussed. Can you say like why they're so important to connect? Like we've spoken already why it's important to have youths present, but like from your perspective, with
Mhm.
governments or NGOs or international organizations, why these partnerships are so important for us to advance even further for the youths, I mean.
Um, First of all, it's an honor for me to be a part of this broadcast. It's nice to have you as well. I think it's important as a lot of youth they want to participate in different conference and organizations, but they don't know how to apply for it or what steps to go through. So some organizations that we do partnership with is we're helping youth to go one step forward to help them how to become a speaker. We did a lot of training, we did a lot of webinars, training youth people how to become a speaker, how to spread their words out. And there's a lot of youth that they do have a lot of opportunities, but they don't know how to start it. So I think the us doing partnership with different organizations, we're helping the youth to make their voices become more heard from others and to encourage them that there is a word that people will hear what you're saying. It's just you need to improve yourself more, learn, know the steps the good way. That's why I think it's important that we're doing partnership with other organizations is we're giving chance for other youth to spread their words and have a chance to change.
Perfect. That's really important as well. In your opinion, like, or from your perspective, what makes AYSDN, because we've already talked about, or we've already described how it as a platform for youth leadership and collaboration is very, very important. But what makes it more unique when you're comparing it to some other youth networks that you might have heard of?
Um, what makes Arab Youth Sustainable Development Network different from other organizations? First of all, we work as a family, a whole team as a family. There's no one that's a leader or a founder or a boss or whatever. No, we are all one family. We help each other. Different departments, like us partnership, we help the social media department, we help the HR department. So we're always there in one hand, that we always support each other, help each other. If I don't understand something, I would go and ask one of my colleagues. No one will ever say no. They will always help us. If they don't know anything, we'll search together. And Arab Youth Sustainability Development Network gave us an opportunity to spread our words out, meet other organization. Um, it gave us opportunity to go to other conference. It opened us a lot of doors, and it made us a leadership. And the most important thing and the different thing is we're all one family and all of us are in one hand. Um, we never let anyone down. We're always there together.
That's
Yeah, yeah,
actually very
I
important.
can,
Yeah.
yeah, I
Please
can
come
add
in.
to, yes, I can add to this question actually. It's like I was then become a space for the youth actually,
Yeah.
either to share their inputs, either to share their views, in some critical issues, and they find it as a space to share their perspective to the governments, to the
Yes.
international NGOs. So we take their perspective actually. So when the youth find the space actually, so they go, and as we am said, it's a place where they find their opportunities. We broadcast the opportunities, we share the opportunities, we share to them that there is some meetings, for example, here in Nairobi, there's some meeting here in Germany, there's some meeting here, so who wants to be accredited and who wants to apply and how they can be engaged, and what there is an opportunity actually now. Answering the previous question for Wiam regarding partnership, we open the membership form now,
Yeah.
and once we we believe that we need more civil societies that will be engaged, and until now we have received more than 300 members
Yeah,
from like civil societies, across the MENA region, and we're still accepting, but there is a committee who will start like finalizing those who are registry official and those who can be and what is our plan is actually, what our plan is actually to empower those organizations to build their governance. To be able to stand to receive some funding, to receive some sponsorship, to be able to implement a ground level, a grassroots organizations, a grassroots projects in their communities, and especially in the local communities. We need to be integrated to the, we need to be like going down, to those communities, local communities, grassroots youth. There are some youth who work in villages, and we didn't know them. So we try to help those kind of those vulnerable peoples who nobody knows about them, and to share and to build. Some of the youth are there, they are working actually, but they don't know how to work professionally.
correct.
And you are in a place that if you are not professional, no one will give you fund and no one will support you. So we try to build their capacities. We try to build the capacities of civil societies and youth network, youth organizations at the national level to be able to work professional and to get some funding to help. You know what makes me sad is actually when there is an international NGO and ask for funding, most of them they go to Africa. They go
Yeah.
to Africans, Why? Because Africans organizations, they are very well empowered. So I feel very sad. Why there's not Arab youth organizations and youth from different MENA region countries, they can grab this fund, and they can absorb this fund. So that's why it really makes us to make a partnerships, and we will starting to implement a program on empowering those youth individuals, youth civil societies, and also youth networks and so on.
I think what you've said is very important because the opportunities are there, but I think the youth just don't know how to grab them. So they kind of need
Yes, yes,
they need people to guide them, and which is why
yes.
these partnerships are so important. I think us at Demos Tunisia, we focus a lot on the kind of like the link between democratic sustainability and civic engagement. So from your perspective, Mr. Hassan, how do the sustainable development goals connect to democracy for the youth in the Arab world?
Yeah, democracy is very important.
Yeah, of course.
When people have the right, when people have the right to speak, when people have been given the opportunity to speak, when when the opportunity is there for the people to be participated and to be engaged, to speak up. Most of the countries now in our region a lack of freedom, and this is one of the democracy issues actually. But we are trying to build and linking this is very important between the sustainable development goals and also the democracy and political engagement. Political engagement is very important.
Right.
You know that not so as many as youth are being engaged in political participation, but we try to engage, and we have a program actually in 2015. It's actually under the peace and security actually, and how we can engage more youth to be an active political in terms of like achieving peace and security in the MENA in the MENA region, and I think the link is very important between the two terms. And we cannot achieve sustainable development goals without like in a real democracy and in a real political engagement, in a real freedom for the youth to speak up. If the youth they don't have the right and there is no democracy there, I think there will be a lack on achieving the SDGs. There will be a lack on achieving those SDGs where there is no democracy, and where there is no right for especially for youth and young people in the MENA region.
That's very true. So the two terms I feel like, as you have mentioned, are very, very interlinked. One cannot work without
Yes,
the other.
yes,
And that only continues to grow, and especially in the world that we live in today.
yeah.
And I think you've mentioned some challenges, but what are some obstacles that you guys have faced in like or have encountered within this mission, like whether it's political or financial or logistical options? Like how do you kind of navigate these obstacles that come up? Because I'm sure since its foundation, you guys have come up with.
Yeah, we have we did have a lot of challenge, and I also have, I think I have written some articles on how
Yes.
youth from the Arab youth, they have some challenging, especially in terms of securing fund, in terms of like engaging those Arab youth. Most of the countries, and actually we have been dividing the countries in our region into three countries.
Mm-hmm.
One is a conflicted area countries. Those are having a conflict like Yemen, like was Iraq before, and now Sudan, and other countries. Those are their challenge is very high actually, and their involvement is quite rare actually. There was no engagement for the youth. There's no financial support for them. There's a lack. There's some visa restrictions if there is attending some different conferences, there are some visa restrictions. And also we have second countries, those who we call it them like medium development countries, like like Egypt, like Tunisia, like some countries. And we have the development countries like the Gulf countries who really have their youth being supported. So the challenge is actually financial challenging. This is one of the most important that we have been faced actually during our last and past years. The second thing is actually convincing the government on engaging more youth, especially due to political issues. Some of the countries, especially, they have like political issues. They have parties. So I'm not going to involve a youth from a different party. This is an issue.
Correct.
That's true. We have been faced in other countries, but we have been trying to convince some countries. But it's a really a big challenge. We have been faced. The third thing is actually we have been facing a challenge in terms of when you brought up some topics to the youth like SDGs, and then people they don't have a knowledge, it's a high rate of literacy actually in some of the countries. So this has become an issue with us, on how we can engage them. So at this time, only those educated people they get to know. So those people who are not educated, they feel behind. So we try to organize on how we can kill this challenge, at least to engage people who, especially those in the grassroots. So, for example, when there is a youth and young people in the village, and you talk to him that okay, come in and play a role in SDGs. He didn't know what SDGs actually, and he are not really well educated. So basically, this is one of the challenge that we have been faced in the region, and also some of them is there is what we call it selfishness
Yeah.
among the Arab those are very well organized, foundations, they should be really keen or working for the youth in the MENA region instead of like working with others, this is, I think some of the challenge that we have been faced, and also some of the challenges, some of the countries, then some of the member states, they never respect the youth voices, they never respect the youth. When you talk to them, okay, we are a youth network that we really need to enable. So they never respect such thing,
That's very
This is by the way due to their political structure, due to their country structure. I think you have known what I mean.
Yeah, yeah, I completely understand. It depends on
Yeah.
not only the country itself, I think it also depends on how the youth are viewed in said country. I feel like,
Yes.
especially nowadays where we're seeing so many political uprisings where the youth are finally standing up and they're being met with such a wide resistance from their governments. Now that I want to say this, it is a good thing that they are finally waking up, but the outcome that they are receiving is not one that we want to see. So I think it's very much a double-edged sword on that matter. And going back to what you said on how it has to come from the grassroots itself, like you want to spread knowledge, but how is that knowledge going to then reach
Yes.
the people that you are targeting, especially when they're not presented with the opportunity, be it based on their financial situation, on their geopolitical situation. I think it's all very hard. So with that said, looking to the future, what are some of AYSDN's priorities within the next few years? Like, are there any particular issues or goals that where you want to see the Arab youth making the strongest impact?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, for now, we are, I think, the only network in the MENA region who really brought up some of the, some of the youth voices from the MENA region. What we intended to do is actually we need to create a learning platform in Arabic, in English, for those Arab youth for free. This is our goal actually in the coming years. Basically, this is one of the goals that we need to create it. It's an online platform learning in different topics in Arabic, so people they get to know what's going on exactly for those who don't have an English and who really are not eligible. So it will be like categories in two, three categories for those basics, those who have a basic knowledge, for those who has an intermediate, and those for those advanced knowledge. So this is one of the goals is actually creating an online learning platform for the Arab youth. Number two is actually reaching out and to be an active member with the Arab League, like attending, stressing on the Arab League ministerial meetings. So they have to have like a space for the youth to be there, especially or in some areas. So we are trying to bring out youth representative attending, those kind of high level meetings and to share, in different issues. For example, you have an environmental minister, so we need to have like one youth from the MENA region. This is my dream and this is my goal. I'm trying to achieve it, in the next years, that we have to grow it up, like in health, we do have a health youth who really specific in health issues. So like in whatever topics. So the third thing is actually AI, because the artificial intelligence, we need to brought up more of the success stories on AI, implementing trainings on AI, building the capacities of youth in tips. We have been doing some training, we have been also already implemented, I think, 3 trainings in terms of AI, artificial intelligence, but they are not enough. So we need to create some programs to be able يعني الشباب يكونوا مواكبين, يعني they're aligned with what's going on at the international level. We don't want the youth from the MENA region to be behind, so we need to become at the same level. So this is our future programs, hopefully. And then also engaging with those professional organizations like Microsoft, like we have been received a free Microsoft scholarship, by the way, for the foundation itself, for using some of their programs for free for nonprofit. We have also receiving Google as well, So we have been trying on like staying with the world level in different areas. So this is my dream, and my dream as well is to empower as much as possible youth from the MENA regions to be able to be well educated, to be well represented in their countries, to be a change makers in their communities. And my dream is actually every country in the MENA region has a powerful education system. Their youth are very, very well educated, their institution is very strong, and their organizations are very strong. And also youth organizations is actually well heard and well represented at the national level.
Of course, inshallah, that dreams of yours comes true, because it would become a dream for everybody
Hopefully,
else as well. So inshallah, ya Rab,
hopefully,
that
yeah.
does come true.
Hopefully, yeah.
And unfortunately, I do just have 3 minutes left, but I just, as a final remark, finally, for all the young people who might be listening across the Arab region, many of whom might be passionate about sustainability or democracy or even activism, what advice would you give for getting involved and making their voices heard? I want to say.
Yeah, I advise most of the young people in the MENA region is to be engaged and to stay in a loop on what's going on at the national level, at the regional level, and also international level, and make sure that you continue empowering yourself, you continue educating yourself, you continue building your capacity in different areas, especially in artificial intelligence, which is the AI. And also, I advise them to share, to share their voice, to share their opportunities, and to build their network to be strong, because we said that unity is strong, and that's what we are hoping for most of the youth to be a unit, especially for those in the MENA region and Arab world.
Of course, and I hope that more youth will become more involved, especially because of such strong partnerships that you have made with so many institutions and so many organizations, and just because of how powerful AYSDN is about broadcasting their message to the youth. So I just want to thank Mr. Hassan and Wiam. Thank you so much for joining me today and for sharing your insights and stories with us. I think this is an extremely powerful reminder for us all of how youth can actually drive democratic sustainability and sustainable development. And these, of course, go hand in hand. So once again, thank you so much for your time. It was such a pleasure talking to you both, and an honor, of course. And I hope you have the great rest of your year. And I'll become, of course, inshallah, more involved with AYSDN later on in the
Yeah,
future.
thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
very
Thank you
much,
so much.
Christina. Yeah, we're very glad to have you with us today. And if you need anything, we can keep connected in the future, hopefully, to raise more youth voices in the MENA region. And thank you for this podcast,
Thank you so much. Thank you. Of course, we will stay connected, and hopefully this also becomes a partnership between Demos and AYSDN. Thank you so much for
Thank
your
you.
time.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Good luck.
Bye.
Have a nice day. Bye.